I was making about 260, 240, and then 2008 I dropped to like 60 grand. So 60 grand compared to 240 is not enough to live the same lifestyle. And I remember you know this, but I was also leveraging. So I was making maybe 240, 260, but I was spending probably like 400,000 because I had credit cards and credit lines, things like that. But when you drop your income, when it dropped that much, you had your little girls, right?
Yeah,
And how tough was it with your little girls? Was that the lowest moment of your life, or did you have a lower moment?
no, dude, that was that was one of the lowest point of my life, man. Because look, coming from not having a dad, my dad left me and my mom when I was 3, and I never saw him again. So for me, my biggest reason, my biggest why, my biggest reason I live was to be able to provide a life for my family that they can
Yeah.
be proud of. I want my girls to be proud of me. I want my boy now to be proud of me. I want them to know their daddy. I don't want to see one daddy. I don't want to be a deadbeat dad and not be able to provide for them. I want to be able to walk my daughters down the aisle, and I want as a father to throw a huge wedding for them. For my son, I want to provide all the education, all the tools. So that was my why. But when that my why was taken away, because I felt, my wife was taken away because of recession. And then all of a sudden you start blaming yourself. My God, Sam, you're stupid. You went about the Ferrari. Sam, you're stupid. You went and did this and did that. And you feel like you messed up your family, And so I had all this guilt and all this thing, like, why did I do this and why did I do that? And you can't do that. You can't live in the guilt. You have to learn from it and then move forward.
Yeah.
And that's what all I did. I'm like, you know what? I can't change the past. I can't change my mistakes. All I can do is learn from them and just push forward.
And those moments that were really low, like what was like? Do you remember a moment that was really painful? Like, did you have any moments where you kind of like weren't sure if you were gonna be able to make it or something like that?
The lowest point of my life was when I finally started seeing the light at the end of the tunnel in 2014. I started getting some traction, started making some more money again. And then all of a sudden I'm at work, I get hit with divorce papers. Now I'm totally devastated. I remember going in it's called Hotel Chino Hills off of 71 freeway. I negotiated $70 a day, to live there. And I remember one night, when I was there at night, I'm like, I was just sat there and had like a come to Jesus talk with myself. And I was literally crying. I cried so many nights in that hotel, and I can just get emotional about it. I just cried so many nights, and I was like, Sam, you're such a effing loser. You messed up, 2000, you let the recession, affect your family. And now that you finally, saw the light at the end of the tunnel, now you lost your family. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I remember crying, like, I can get emotional. I can cry now about it, and I told myself, well, so Sam, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to go out to the club? Because I was 40 years old then. That was 6 years ago. It's not like it was that long ago. So I go, Sam, what are you going to do? Are you going to go back to what you did in your 20s? Go back to the club, start chasing women, start drinking, start ordering bottle service because now you're single and you can do that. Now, is that what you want to do? What are you going to do? And then I remembered, that first of all, I don't know if you remember, Albert, that whenever you went out back in your 20s, you're out in the club, and all of a sudden you look, there's always that one old creeper guy in the club. I remember, like, me and my friends used to make fun of him. Every time we went to a club, there's that one old geezer at the club that he has no business. He's like 20, 30 years older than everybody else at the club. He's wearing outdated clothes. He's by himself. He's like looking at these girls, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to be that guy in the club. I'm 40 years
Yeah.
old and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, so I came up to conclusion. I'm like, what is my life? What do I want my life to be about? What is my top priorities? So I sat down and I came up with these 3 things. Well, my top priority is to provide for my family, which means go to work and grind, right? Top 2 is spend time with the family as much as possible. So spend time with the family as much as possible. And if I'm not with the family, I'm going to grind and make money for family. And 3 was to be healthy so I can provide for the family and be with the family. So I was either in the gym, either grinding at work, or either spending time with my daughters. That's the only 3 things that I did. Anything else, people could, call me up. Sam, you want to go hang out and watch football? No. Sam, you want to go hang out and get something to eat? No. Hey, Sam, do you want to hang out and talk business? Yes. Yeah. So when I was crystal clear on what I wanted my life to be about, how I want to spend my time, then decision making became really easy for me.
Yeah, and so you mentioned 2014 was like a big year for you. When was the camp? When did the camp begin?
So the camp began in 2010. Okay, and just like anything else, we struggled. September 1st of 2010 is when it began, and we struggled and we struggled and we struggled, and in 2014 when I was in a hotel, I had nothing better to do.
Yeah.
At that time we had, I think, 6 or 7 locations, and so when I had nothing better to do, just indulge, just go all in, immerse myself into work, immerse myself into grind, immerse myself in everything that I had to do to push the business forward, to increase my income. That's when we started seeing traction. I came up with a couple of programs, I figured out how to market properly, and now we started building the camp to what it is today.
Back then it was just like a regular gym, like weights and everything?
No, it was a camp, but we didn't have the marketing correct. We weren't doing the marketing correctly.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything that set us apart from anything else. So, when I sat down, when I had all the time in the world and dedicated myself to just that one thing,
yeah.
We started killing it. And again, if you go back, and this is for your listeners, if you go back, every devastation that I had became my biggest blessings. That divorce, have I not got divorced? Have I not got served divorce papers? I wouldn't have got crystal clear on what I wanted in life. When I got crystal clear on what I wanted in life is when I started blowing up the camp. At that time we had 8 locations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is 2014. Right now it's 2020, 6 years now. We have like over 115 more locations.